Hello and welcome to the Data Career Academy podcast. This is a show dedicated to closing the information gap between data job seekers and hiring authorities about the challenging data analytics job market. My name is Albert Bellamy. I'm the host of the show, and it's my goal to highlight aspiring data analysts and their abilities in order to get them hired, to spotlight recent hires and how they successfully navigated the hiring process, as well as to find out from real industry experts what the job market looks like from the hiring side and how all of that can benefit you, the listener. So let's get into today's episode. Um, so what in general are you seeing in the market? I know you're specific to the tech space, you're super specific to the cleared space, but if you can speak to the tech space writ large, what does the market look like to you?
It's tough. It's tough right now. Obviously, there's a lot of layoffs, right? And these layoffs have impacted individuals that have a lot of experience, and it's nothing that they did wrong. Maybe they didn't have enough time in their position, and they just ended up on a list. It can literally be that simple. So I would say, from my perspective, it's very competitive now, right? For some of these positions, I would say definitely your mid-level engineering positions, you might have, a good number of applicants on there. And I know that folks are applying to a lot of roles and they're like, I think I'm qualified and why am I not moving forward? It might just be because there's 30 other people or however many
Yeah.
others that are applying for the same role and they're just equally qualified for it. Or maybe they applied, a few days ahead of you and they've already interviewed.
Yeah. Now, do you, and a common complaint that I hear, and I'm sure you
Mhm.
hear it too, is there's a job that was posted 3 hours ago and there's 1,000 applications. Do you get hit with that volume at the recruiter level, or does that bottleneck kind of smack the hiring chain somewhere else?
Yeah, I hate I love your questions. So they're a little gray, right?
Mhm.
It's not a black or white thing that I can really answer. When I've heard that comment from job seekers of like this job just opened and I'm seeing there's 1,000 applicants on it. Usually what they're talking about is a LinkedIn job posting, right? And there's been some posts about the realities of that. So from what I know, and maybe LinkedIn updated this, but when you click on a job posting on LinkedIn, that counts as an application when it's not really an application,
Oh,
right? It's not someone that actually followed through on the application. Amy Miller has talked about this. She's
see,
from
this is why I
from
need to do
Amazon.
podcasts because I'm learning already.
Yeah, and I started hearing that more and started seeing posts about it and I
Mhm.
tested it out myself and saw it for myself with
You
my
saw the
own
counter
eyes.
click up, just
Yes, yeah, that
wow. Okay.
well, and
Did
being
not
in
know
the
that.
position that I'm in, I'm able to look at that, on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
and then compare it to what is actually in my system. And it was not it totally different numbers.
Okay.
So I would say um, apply anyways. Don't shut the door on
Yeah.
yourself. Apply anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. Try not to get discouraged by that. I mean, who knows? Maybe you're, even if there is 1,000 applicants, maybe you're the best. Could happen.
You do not know. You
Yeah.
do not know. And in the cleared world, we get a lot of applicants that are, they don't have a clearance, right? They
Yeah.
miss that piece. So that takes out a good chunk of individuals that right off the bat are not qualified. So I would never ever shut the door on yourself or just assume like, oh, it's over before. No, no, no.
Yeah.
Apply, get your application in there.
What's been your toughest lesson learned so far?
I think my toughest lesson is always that things are always changing and I adapt to whatever the current situation is. And it's a challenge for me to see things change again and change so rapidly. The thing I learned about the job search process is it is different than it was just a few years ago. It is more competitive. People are applying, on LinkedIn with that simple apply. I see the job listing. It's only been out 5 minutes and there's like 100 applicants already. So adapting to those rapid changes has been a real challenge for me.
So, I mean, let's advertise you a little bit. What's your professional superpower?
I think I have a lot of diverse experiences, but I think one of the greatest natural skills I have is in explaining difficult concepts. When I was teaching high school, the principal came in to observe my classroom, and we were learning about slopes. And I made that lesson very relevant to my students. They were super excited to tell me what their input was because I chose something that was relevant to them to describe slopes. They really like skateboarding, and it turns out slope has a big impact on your ride. So all the kids were telling me all the different places in town where you could get a really nice ride, and maybe some of them that were too scary. But they really internalized the concept of slopes. And this is something that translates every time I talk to someone in terms of whatever complex concept I'm trying to explain. I really put myself in a position where I try to learn about a person's background, about what's important to them. And I really try to listen so that when I present information, I keep my audience in mind. So I think that's my superpower. I really have learned to pay attention to where people are and meet them there.
I think one of the very first things I did in Tableau, one of the very first data projects I did, was MJ versus LeBron. And it was actually quite impressive. Michael Jordan was quite impressive. Both of them are quite impressive. So I used the matrix, and at first I compared their first 5 championships, or Michael Jordan's first 5 championship seasons, because he has one more than LeBron. And I kind of said, okay, well, these are the matrix that I'm using, and based upon that, Michael Jordan's a little bit better than LeBron. Then you bring in a Bill Russell. You bring in a Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I didn't see Wilt or Bill Russell play. I saw Kareem Abdul-Jabbar play, but he was pretty old at that point, and they just blow away Michael Jordan. Oh, this is really interesting. And then, and we had a discussion during the Career Academy about sports analytics, especially now with the emergence of betting and it being legal just about everywhere now. So that's become a real competitive field.
Friends, thanks for joining me for a great show. If you'd like to hear more, I'll have the guests' contact info in the show notes below. If you'd like to get involved with Data Career Academy and find out more about what we do, please visit my website, themajordata.com. Or you can join my LinkedIn group for exclusive free content and first looks at what I'm working on. With that, Semper Fidelis, and I'll talk to you later.